And how can you independently verify the tests? And especially when the reliability of said tests for any sort of accurate indication of anything, it's so unreliable, and including tests that have been contaminated with COVID, which I don't even know if I believe.
Right.
It's all just mass confusion.
Well, it's total fog of war.
Fog of war,
like mass information influx, disinformation influx, partial truth here, fractional truth there, majority truth over here, massive omission over there, huge distortion over here. I mean, it's the whole perestroika deception of like bombarding your enemy, which, the state is in a war against the people, clearly has been really from its inception. It's designed to oppress as a vehicle for consolidating itself into an empire or a hegemony. And it uses rituals, mass conformity and acceptance as the fuel by which that consolidation takes place. And we see the egregores and the symbolic interactionism of power paraded around in front of us all the time. And that's the sympathetic magic, it's they have to sort of constantly demonstrate to you their abject disregard for your life and their desire to condemn you to a state of servility and destitution by having this absurd theater rolled out that's supposed to be for your protection. Like you can't think for yourself, you can't act on your own behalf. You are a peon that is a human resource that is designed to be experimented on in perpetuity for the betterment and the knowledge scope of the upper echelon. And that, in a sort of nutshell, is the harmonic world state, or the, to use the normie term, the New World Order. But New World Order has been used since the 19th century. I mean, it's kind of a catch-all phrase for statist tyrants to impose their will. And that's why, you hear this Orwellian language today, right and left. I mean, social distancing, like, you mean anti-social distancing. New normal, like, that's an oxymoron. What makes normalcy is a repeated, predictable pattern. That there isn't deviation or newness really anywhere. And I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And the reality is, where do they really get the pretext to think that everyone is just willing to be their slaves?
Well, you made a comment there. You made a comment there that we are to be human resources experimented on in perpetuity. And one of the big red pill moments for me in my awakening journey was the discovery of this study that was done in, it looks like 1990 and 1991 in the city of Durham, where I grew up. And I was just awakening to the fluoridation issue because I was diagnosed, so to speak, of dental fluorosis. Mm-hmm. And this study was done in cahoots with Duke University, and I believe, I need to verify this, but it would make sense, the World Health Organization. Okay. Mm. And it says it right here. You can look it up on the government PubMed website. Abstract: Durham, NC, fluoridated since 1962, had an 11-month cessation, meaning they turned the spigots off, between September 1990 and August 1991. The purpose of this study was to assess the effects of this break on the development of caries and fluorosis in children. Study participants were continuously resident children in kindergarten through grade 5 in Durham's elementary schools. there were 1,696 children, 81.4% of those eligible, for whom a questionnaire was completed and clinical data recorded. Age cohorts were defined by a child's age at the time that fluoridation ceased. Caries was recorded in children in the birth cohort through cohort 3, and fluorosis for children in cohorts 1 through 5. Caries was assessed in the primary first and second molars according to the decayed filled index. Fluorosis on the labial surfaces of the upper permanent central and lateral incisors was assessed by the Teistrup-Ferguson index. Mother's education was associated with caries, higher education, blah, 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 blah. The conclusion was that while the break had little effect on caries, meaning it's not like they saw a big outbreak of cavities by turning the fluoride off like the public health officials would have you believe.
Right.
But dental fluorosis is sensitive to even small changes in fluoride exposure from drinking water, and this sensitivity is greater at 1 to 3 years of age than at 4 or 5 years. So they're saying you're more sensitive the younger you are to fluorosis, which is what? The degradation of your bones. It is literally eating your bones away. But I thought it was supposed to make your teeth stronger. So I see this and I'm like, holy shit. I was one of these continuously resident going to Durham public schools. I don't know if I was in school yet, so I'm not sure if I actually had a questionnaire sent home to me, but I definitely was fluoridated, and I was like, wow, they straight up can just experiment on us like that. They can just turn the spigot off for a little while and then send some questionnaires home through the public school system.
And say that's science and use it as a justification for turning the spigots back on.
Unbelievable.
Unreal. And then, it's all Delphi method, manufactured consensus, echo chamber, confirmation bias crap that is supposed to pass as forensic verification. And it's anything but. It's literally just back patting and echo chambering a predetermined conclusion that they all want to come to, and coming up with a circuitous method that's going to confound most people into just believing that it's scientific. And
believe in science.
Yeah. It's sophistry is really what it is at the bottom. It's neo-sophistry.
So this guy got to write his little study. Disgusting.
There's more initials after his name than his actual name.
Yeah, it means a lot to him. Means a lot to him.
Oh, of course.
You better call me doctor.
Well, it's like, wait, epidemiology. Okay, so this is the graphic, speculative, chart-based study of the expanse and pattern growth of viral outbreaks, right? So you're talking about yet another speculative, projection-based, hermeneutical deduction of reality. And people are just supposed to consider that to be on the same footing as, say, like a surgeon or a family practitioner, probably even higher. He's like a royal scion of knowledge, because he can read these charts and predict the future. It's in this speculative hermeneutic aspect of scientism, masquerading as though it stands on the same epistemological footing as forensic, heuristic, experience-based, demonstration-based understandings of the world, is one of the greatest deceptions in modern understanding of the world.
Modern times.
Yeah, modern times. And it's the most sophisticated philosophy of deception that's probably ever been mobilized on a pragmatic scale.